You were misled long before you ever realized it. And the hardest truth to accept? You've been deceiving yourself too. Right now, while you're listening to this, someone else is living the life you told yourself wasn't possible. They're earning the respect you quietly crave. They speak, and people listen. They walk into rooms where you feel invisible. They're building the future you imagine while scrolling through other people's wins late at night, feeling that tight pressure in your chest. You've asked it before, maybe not out loud, but it keeps showing up when things go quiet. When does it become my turn? I used to ask that same question. I watched people with half the skill get double the chances. I kept explaining myself to people who couldn't recognize value if it stared them in the face. I felt that anger, the kind that burns quietly when you realize you've been following rules designed to keep you stuck. Then everything shifted. The system wasn't broken. I just never learned how it really works. While I was being taught to stay polite and patient, others were learning influence. While I tried to be agreeable, they were building certainty. While I apologized for taking space, they claimed it without asking. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. You're not failing because you lack ability. You're stuck because you're still waiting for approval from people who will never give it. You're looking for confirmation you don't need. You're obeying limits written by people who benefit from you staying small. So what happens when you stop waiting? When you stop asking? When you stop letting other people's fears decide your ceiling? Because that's where everything changes. Over the next few minutes, you're going to understand 7 psychological principles that separate those who choose their lives from those who accept leftovers. You'll see why some people earn respect without chasing it, why opportunities seem to find certain people, why some lead while others follow. This isn't hype, this isn't motivation, this is precision. When you're done, you won't just think differently. You'll move with intention, you'll speak with weight, you'll feel the shift every time you enter a room. Before we continue, write this in the comments. I'm done asking. I decide. Write it seriously, because once you understand this, asking permission will feel like self-betrayal. 1. Speaking too much costs you power. I learned this at 23, sitting in a room where everyone earned more in a month than I made all year. I talked non-stop, trying to prove I belonged. I thought contribution meant noise. I was wrong. The most influential person barely spoke, but when he did, people leaned in. When he stayed quiet, others exposed themselves without realizing it. That's when I understood something critical. Every word you say gives away leverage. Every explanation weakens your position. Every attempt to fill silence tells people you're uncomfortable holding space. Silence unsettles people. It forces them to reveal what they're thinking. When you stop rushing to speak, something shifts. People begin projecting meaning onto your calm. They assume you're observing, measuring, judging, and while they talk, they expose themselves. Talking too much makes you readable. Listening makes others transparent. Once I changed this, everything changed. People sought my opinion instead of me offering it. They worked harder for my approval because I stopped handing it out. They became curious because I stopped thinking out loud. Quiet isn't weakness, it's control. The person who can sit comfortably without speaking directs the energy of the room. 2. Emotions lie. Awareness doesn't. Someone I trusted once turned my private struggles into public entertainment. I wanted to react, to defend, to explain. I didn't. I stayed still. And that moment taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. Feelings are signals, not commands. They give information, not instructions. The ability to stay composed while others lose control changes everything. When provoked, observe. When betrayed, record. When manipulated, don't respond. This isn't about being cold. It's about being unshakable. People trust those who stay grounded during chaos. They follow those who think clearly under pressure. Once you control your reactions, you stop taking other people's emotions personally. Anger becomes data, guilt becomes evidence, resistance becomes confirmation. Calm isn't passive, it's authority. 3. Guard personal details like assets I used to overshare. I believed openness meant honesty. What I didn't realize was this: everything I revealed was later used against me. Struggles became proof of weakness. Goals became punchlines. Fears became tools. Information is leverage. Every conversation is an exchange. Either you're gathering insight or giving it away. Powerful people aren't mysterious by accident. They understand that clarity about results matters more than transparency about process. When people don't know how you operate, they respect outcomes instead of questioning methods. Share selectively. Listen carefully. People reveal everything about themselves when they talk long enough. Awareness isn't manipulation, it's intelligence. 4. Skill creates security, not likability. For years, I tried to be pleasant, reliable, easy. I thought that would protect me. It didn't. The truth is simple. Being agreeable makes you replaceable. Being exceptional makes you necessary. Competence is protection. When you deliver undeniable value, opinions stop mattering. Results silence doubt. Master what matters. Anticipate problems. Fix what others accept as broken. Once you do, people adjust to you, not the other way around. 5. Stop explaining yourself to people who already decided I left stability for vision. People criticized. I tried to justify. It didn't help. Some people don't misunderstand you. They resist you. Explaining yourself to them drains energy you could invest elsewhere. Those meant to support you won't require convincing. Those threatened by you never will. Choose whose opinions earn your attention. Silence is often the strongest response. 6. Create systems, not dependence. Freedom isn't lack of structure. It's ownership of structure. When your income, confidence, and stability rely on others, you're vulnerable. Build systems that work without permission. Develop skills that move with you. Create routines that support your direction. Systems create options. Options create leverage. Leverage creates freedom. 7. Choose discipline over comfort. This is where most people stop. Sometimes growth requires cutting ties. Sometimes loyalty becomes limitation. Prioritizing your future will disappoint people who benefited from your stagnation. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Protect your time. Preserve your energy. Invest where growth is mutual. Extraordinary outcomes require uncomfortable choices. Final truth. You're not late. You're not broken. You were conditioned. Conditioned to wait, to seek approval, to stay manageable. You don't exist to be liked. You exist to build something meaningful. Real power doesn't announce itself. It shows up in movement, boundaries, and presence. You don't need validation anymore. You need alignment. Stop waiting. Start choosing. If you're done being controlled, hit like. If you're ready to become unshakable, subscribe. You don't need permission. Take what's yours.